What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2 and my synopsis of today's Trendy Entertainment dev stream. Of course, the big pre-launch dev stream happened earlier this morning, and this is some of the basics of what went on. Now, of course, there's no substitute for watching the full dev stream all the way through. If you do have an extra hour on your hands, click in the link down in the description below. Will take you over to the full highlight on Trendy's Twitch channel. Now, first things first, before we really hop into the dirt, a couple of the top questions I want to just go ahead and answer up front. We already know there will be no wipes. Everything you have on your character, all the progression that you have so far will be the same come Tuesday morning. So there will be no changes, no wipes of any sort, and nothing to worry about there. Now, on that same note, a few other things that people have been asking quite a bit about up front, and that is trading. Trading, it has been confirmed that trading will be a thing at some point. However, it's not going to be in the immediate time frame. It definitely won't be at launch, and probably won't be for several updates directly after that. Trendy does like the thought of trading, however, they're unsure how they want to implement it yet. So although trading will be coming, it's not going to be coming right away. So let's go ahead and hop on into the dirt. First off, a lot of the early game stuff was changed, tweaked, and prettied up a little bit. There is right at the beginning of the game and right off the title screen now a how to play section with some guides and tutorials with basic gameplay.
So we're just going to get started right off the bat. Obviously, this is our new kind of main menu. We've added a new button, if you can see that. Do you want to tell us a little bit kind of about the how to play menu and kind of what we were thinking when we were creating this?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the big pieces of community feedback that we've had, especially since we've done so many revamps over the last few milestones, is that players were coming into the game and they were just kind of confused. They're like, okay, I don't really understand like these new systems. We didn't do a great job of explaining all of our new changes. So right from the main menu, you have a how to play menu that shows you, for the moment, there are about, 5 videos. It's set up to be expandable, so as we continue to add things, if we deem it necessary, we can continue to add new videos there. But we talk about, loot, trials, some advanced gameplay, talking about probably, I think it's hero deck management.
Plus, there is an actual tutorial that you can play through to get the basic understanding of the game.
We spent some time on this milestone, is really just fleshing out this tutorial. It teaches you multiple things. It teaches you, obviously, the basics, movement, etc., attacking. But something that is really core, as you guys know, to the Dungeon Defenders experience is like swapping between your heroes and building with multiple heroes, which we did not do at all. We did not teach you that at all. So yeah, this tutorial, it launches, it gives you, is it a normalized deck?
Yes.
So it gives you like a basic deck of heroes that you can automatically swap to. We're going to go through a lot of changes. You're already seeing them right now, but yeah, the tutorial kind of teaches you how to actually play Dungeon Defenders, which was a pretty key issue that we had recognized for a while now. And
I, for one, am going to be playing through the campaign again on the Xbox One, so I'm going to be experiencing that there. But I do strongly encourage everyone to go back in and play through the campaign and check it out, as besides the obvious things, the changed HUD, some streamlined health bars, just a different feel to the UI overall. There has been a bit of a story and some dialogue changes added into the campaign to make it a bit more engaging. Now, on that same note, they didn't clear it up whether it's on every map or just through some of the starter maps, but the enemy count will not stop coming until the final boss is dead on a wave. So no more waiting for all the enemies to die until the boss is dead. You have to deal with the boss as the enemy flow keeps on coming. On that same note, loot is going to be strategically introduced through the campaign. Here's an example of that.
So one thing we did in the first couple levels is we kind of reduced the loot spam. we found it was actually overwhelming a lot of players in some of the earlier levels, that there was just a ton of loot dropping and they didn't really understand like what it was used for or like how it affects them, and they got so much that they found it kind of hard. We got a lot of feedback saying it was kind of hard to manage before you really kind of learn what loot does for you. So we toned it down a little bit. We toned down the loot you get a little bit. You still get loot, but it'll be kind of at a slower pace as it ramps up. It's only about in like the first 4 levels, but it just introduces you better into kind of the loot system, how it works and stuff like that. New players will have an easier time kind of understanding like, oh, this loot helps out defenses, this loot helps out my weapons. Obviously weapons and armor probably aren't super hard to understand, but some of the relics, we've found that people have had a hard time understanding like which relics are good on their defenses. So for instance, you know, one of the most useful relics obviously is medallions. So we'll specifically drop a medallion for you to use, so then people are like, oh, I got this defensive piece of gear, I'm gonna put it on, you know, my cannonballs that I've been creating.
And then after you complete a map, a cool little thing that's added into the game is the map is going to be a bit more explorable. It's not quite open world, but you do get to explore around the map a little bit more as the gates will open, and you can appreciate a little bit more of the artwork and the design that went into the map.
When we actually beat the level, the doors opened up to Dragonfall, and now you can actually like go in and just kind of explore the gate area after you beat the level. So it's just little like world building things like that that just make it a little bit cooler.
Now, one of the big announcements for the day was without a doubt the addition of our next hero. It's not the Barbarian, it's not the Man Machine, it is actually the Initiate. Dungeon Defenders 1 fans will remember the Initiate as the female counterpart to the Monk. And this Initiate, although very similar to the Monk in defenses and tower placement, definitely offers a little bit of a different playstyle. Here's a look at some of the Initiate's new abilities.
So, her first ability is called Chi Stomp. It's similar to Monk's Pole Smash. It has a mechanic where it'll actually go to the ground if you're in the air and smash around you, and it does knock up. Right, knock up, good.
Boom.
Yes, look at that. Yep. There it is. I was like waiting for it just to show while I was mentioning it. But yeah, so it does knock up, does some AoE damage, similar to Pole Smash. Has a short cooldown, and you can use it from the air, which is pretty awesome. Her second ability is called Crippling Chi Wave. Now this ability is bananas. So it's a charged frontal like wave blast of death. It does damage and it marks enemies. And the marked enemies are like crippled / cursed / like they're just debuffed in kind of some way. I don't know how else to say it. P-Tire wanted us to call it Desolation Wave to make it just like way more epic sounding, but nobody listened to him because it was a bad idea. So I'm just kidding. I kind of liked it. It was just too intense for me, you know.
Desolation.
Get wrecked. So anyway, Crippling Chi Wave, when it marks targets, they actually get slowed and they take more damage. So it's like a mini Dragolich effect. It's not as powerful as the Dragolich, but it's still super useful in kind of a support ability. And then her third ability is Talisman of Empowerment. Tower of Empowerment? What am I even saying? It's not a tower. Tower of Power. Where am I? Talisman of Empowerment. Peter just placed it right there on the stream. It's kind of a mini placeable buff aura. And you can put in, it's a defensive boost aura that you can place in one area. And then similarly, like the Abyss Lord Abyss Stones and Healing Well, you can swap its location, you know, and pick to place it somewhere else. If you're struggling in an area, you know, and you had your talisman placed somewhere else, and you're like, oh man, this huge wave of enemies, you can just relocate it real quick and boost the defenses that you need.
Now, there will be some mutators added into the campaign, so it will be a different experience, and I'm assuming it will probably change from time to time through different playthroughs, but it's going to add a little bit different playstyle, strategy, and building potential to adjust to handle these mutators.
Another thing that you're seeing right here on the second level, this is the beginning of one of those mutators. So these are things that are happening in the campaign levels of kind of like extra little events and things that go on.
Now, a very interesting, we knew incursions were coming. They've been telling us for a month that incursions were on the way, and incursions are indeed headed directly to us at launch. Now, the Xbox One, of course, gets its own map and its own incursion on launch day, which the PC and PS4 will get shortly afterwards. How the incursions are going to work now is once you unlock or complete a regular trials map through a various chaos tier, 1 or 2 incursions will unlock for that tier. Which means, you know, say that you want the Bling King bow. The Bling King bow, for example, would be on, you know, I have no idea what chaos tiers are going to be on, but let's just say the Cobalt Bling King incursion is, say, Chaos 1. After you beat that incursion, you will then be able to go to the dwarf in town, the Wayfarer, and purchase that weapon at higher tiers later in game, as all of the purchasable weapons, they'll be purchased with gold and or defender medals, so you won't be able to buy those items, you'll have to earn them, but they will drop at whatever tier your current gear is, just like the current loot system, which basically means you can get all the incursion weapons in any chaos tier now, and that is just awesome. PS4 fans will be happy to hear that PS4 optimization is coming, as they've been able to increase the frame rate, and particularly in combat situations, Isom said, and looks pretty awesome. Of course, any additional optimization for the PS4 will be very, very welcome. Those that have played on the PS4 know exactly what I'm saying, and hopefully we get to see more of that as the game continues to develop. Now, there is going to be some changes to shards. Most of the shards are basically some unused shards are going to be buffed, and they're mostly going to be hero-specific shards, and here is an example of those.
It's kind of like first step in making shards feel better and helping you guys figure out which shards that you want to equip while you're looking through them. But yeah, you can kind of see the some of them right there on screen. You're going to see the rest of them when the update comes out.
Now, one fun thing that's going to be added in that is not directly requested, but people have been upset that they haven't been able to set a minimum item power requirement since item power went away. You'll now be able to set a minimum ascension requirement for any public map that you start, so no one under a certain ascension level will be able to join that map, and that's pretty darn cool. That will do it for now. Like I said, it's by no means a substitute for watching the actual dev stream, and I encourage everyone to head on over there and check it out. But there is just a quick look at some highlights that I took from the Trendy Entertainment dev stream today, and I am excited for Tuesday. I can't wait to go through and play those incursions. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.